There is a house built out of stone.
Winners do not wait for the perfect time. They do not waste energy wishing things were different. They do not spend their lives hoping for a break. They go after what they want. They create their own opportunities. They shape their own destiny. They understand that success is not given. It is taken. And the difference between those who win and those who don't is not talent, luck, or intelligence. It is mindset. Winners think differently. They see obstacles as temporary. They believe failures are lessons. They know that every setback is an opportunity in disguise. They train themselves to focus on solutions instead of problems. They do not let fear dictate their decisions. They do not allow doubt to control their actions. They do not waste time complaining about what they cannot control. They take responsibility. They own their circumstances. And because of that, they create the results they want. Most people limit themselves with their thoughts. They tell themselves reasons why they cannot succeed. They convince themselves that success is for someone else. They allow their past failures to define their future. They let fear hold them back. But winners, they do the opposite. They train their mind to believe that anything is possible. They refuse to accept limits. They challenge their own excuses. They push through discomfort. They discipline their thinking. And that discipline is what separates them from everyone else. Mindset is everything. It is not just about thinking positively. It is not about making empty affirmations. It is about rewiring how you see the world. It is about developing the mental toughness to keep going when others quit. It is about building the internal strength to push forward when things get hard. It is about conditioning yourself to take action regardless of how you feel. Winners do not wait for motivation. They do not rely on inspiration. They have trained themselves to move even when they do not want to. And that is why they win. Most people let their emotions control them. They act based on how they feel. If they feel like working, they work. If they do not feel like it, they stop. This is why they struggle. This is why they stay stuck. Because the results are dictated by temporary emotions. But winners, they have trained themselves to show up no matter what. They have developed the ability to act with power even when they do not feel like it. They do not let their mood dictate their success. They dictate their success regardless of their mood. There is a reason why winners always seem to be in control. It is not because they never feel fear. It is not because they never doubt themselves. It is not because things always go their way. It is because they have developed the ability to move forward anyway. They feel fear and they act. They feel doubt and they push through. They face setbacks and they keep going. They do not allow external circumstances to dictate their internal state. They have conditioned themselves to operate with power no matter what is happening around them. This is why mindset is the foundation of success. You can give someone all the resources in the world, but if their mind is weak, they will find a way to sabotage themselves. You can give someone all the talent, all the opportunities, all the support, but if they do not believe they are worthy of success, they will destroy it. Winners understand this. They know that before anything else, they must win in their mind. They must develop the mental discipline to think like a winner, act like a winner, and become the type of person who naturally attracts success. This is not about pretending. This is not about fake confidence. This is not about telling yourself something that you do not believe. This is about reprogramming your brain. This is about shifting how you process the world. This is about building a mindset so strong that nothing can shake it. Winners do not just think positively, they think powerfully. They do not just avoid negativity, they replace it with power. Instead of saying, I can't, they say, how can I? Instead of saying, this is hard, they say, I will figure this out. Instead of saying, I don't feel like it, they say, I do what needs to be done. And that shift in thinking is everything. Because when you train yourself to think like a winner, your actions change. When your actions change, your results change. When your results change, your life changes. Most people never make this connection. They think success will make them feel different. They think winning will change how they think. But it's the other way around. Winning starts in the mind. The results come later. The confidence comes later. The success comes later. But the thinking has to change first. So the question is, are you thinking like a winner? Or are you still trapped in limiting beliefs? Are you still holding on to excuses? Are you still processing life through a lens of fear and doubt? Because if you are, you will stay stuck. You will keep struggling. You'll keep wondering why things never change. But if you commit to rewiring your mind, if you commit to developing the mindset of a winner, your entire life will shift. Your actions will shift. Your results will shift. And success will become inevitable. Winners do not negotiate with themselves. They do not wake up and ask, should I work today? They do not debate with themselves about whether they should follow through. They do not waste mental energy questioning their decisions. They've trained themselves to take action without hesitation. They've removed doubt from the equation. They've made success non-negotiable. And because of that, they move with certainty. They move with power. They do not waste time thinking about if. They focus on how. Most people struggle because they are always in negotiation mode. They wake up and start debating with themselves. Should I get up early? Should I hit the gym? Should I work on my goals? And that internal debate is what creates hesitation. That hesitation is what kills momentum. Because every time you question yourself, you give your mind an opportunity to choose comfort over progress. And the more you do that, the weaker your mindset becomes. The more you train yourself to hesitate, the more you condition yourself to stay stuck. Winners do not give themselves that option. They do not wake up wondering if they should work. They just work. They do not question whether they should push forward. They just push forward. They do not negotiate with themselves because they have already decided. And that decision has been made long before the moment of action. They do not wait until they feel ready. They do not wait until they feel inspired. They operate from a place of certainty. And that certainty is what creates results. This is why winners always seem to be in control. It is not because they never feel doubt. It is because they have trained themselves to act anyway. It is not because they never feel fear. It is because they have conditioned themselves to move forward anyway. It is not because they never face setbacks. It is because they have developed the mental toughness to keep going no matter what. They do not waste energy questioning themselves. They do not waste energy debating with themselves. They do not waste energy trying to convince themselves to take action. They have removed hesitation from the equation. And that is the key. If you want to separate yourself from the crowd, you must stop negotiating with yourself. You must stop waking up every day and questioning your decisions. You must stop giving your mind the option to choose comfort over progress. Because every time you hesitate, you weaken your mindset. You train yourself to stay stuck. You condition yourself to avoid discomfort. And winners do not avoid discomfort. They embrace it. They understand that growth only happens when you step outside your comfort zone. Most people run away from discomfort. They avoid things that make them feel uneasy. They stay within their safe zone. And because of that, they never grow. They never expand. They never reach their potential. But winners, they seek discomfort. They understand that every time they push through something difficult, they are getting stronger. Every time they do something that scares them, they are building confidence. Every time they face resistance and keep moving, they are conditioning their mind to operate at a higher level. This is why winners do hard things. They do not wait for life to be easy. They do not complain about how difficult things are. They do not waste energy wishing for more time, more resources, or an easier path. They take what they have and they build with it. They do not wait for motivation, they create it. They do not rely on inspiration. They discipline themselves to act. And because of that, they grow faster than everyone else. They develop a mindset that makes them unstoppable. And this is where most people go wrong. They think success is about talent. They think it is about luck. They think it is about having the right background or the right opportunities. But that is not true. Success is about mindset. It is about who you become when things get hard. It is about how you think when you are faced with challenges. It is about whether you rise to the occasion or give in to excuses. Winners do not make excuses. They do not blame circumstances. They do not allow external factors to determine their future. They take control. They move forward. They create success, no matter what. So the question is, are you training your mind to win, or are you still trapped in hesitation? Are you still waking up every day debating with yourself? Are you still giving yourself the option to quit? Because if you are, you will struggle. You will stay stuck. You will keep wondering why things never change. But if you commit to removing hesitation, if you commit to acting with certainty, if you commit to training yourself to move forward no matter what, your entire life will shift. Your results will change. Your mindset will become unbreakable, and success will become inevitable. Winners do not let their circumstances define them. They do not look at where they started and allow that to stop them. They do not let their past failures dictate their future. They do not let anyone's opinion of them become the reality. They take control of their narrative. They decide who they are. They decide what they will become. And because they have trained themselves to think this way, they create results that reflect it. Most people live life as if their past is their future. They believe that because they struggled yesterday, they will struggle tomorrow. They believe that because they failed before, they will fail again. They allow their history to become their identity. And that is why they stay stuck. That is why they never break through. That is why they keep repeating the same patterns. Because they have never decided to rewrite their story. Winners do not think like that. They understand that the past is just information. It is not destiny. It is not permanent. It is just data that they can use to become better. They do not dwell on what went wrong. They do not obsess over their mistakes. They do not waste energy wishing things were different. They take ownership. They analyze what happened. They learn from it. And then they move on. This is the key to winning. If you want to separate yourself, you must stop living in the past. You must stop allowing old failures to control your future. You must stop letting yesterday's mistakes dictate today's actions. Because every day is a new opportunity. Every moment is a chance to start over. Every second is an invitation to become someone new. Winners understand this. And because they do, they evolve faster than everyone else. They do not hold on to things that no longer serve them. They do not cling to old identities. They do not waste time trying to justify their past. They let go. They release what is holding them back. They detach from the stories that keep them small. And because of that, they create a future that is entirely in their control. And this is what separates winners from everyone else. Most people are anchored to their past. They are trapped in old patterns. They are controlled by old emotions. They are stuck in a cycle of fear and doubt. But winners, they break that cycle. They refuse to be defined by anything other than their actions today. They do not care about where they started. They do not care about what went wrong before. They care about what they are building right now. This is why winners take ownership of everything. They do not blame circumstances. They do not blame people. They do not make excuses. They take full responsibility for their life. And because they do, they have full control over where they are going. Most people avoid responsibility because it is easier to blame. It is easier to point fingers. It is easier to make excuses. But winners know that ownership is power. Because when you own everything, you control everything. And when you control everything, you create your own success. So the question is, are you in control, or are you still letting your past define you? Are you still holding on to things that are keeping you stuck? Are you still allowing old failures to control your future? Because if you are, you will struggle. You will keep repeating the same patterns. You will keep wondering why things never change. But if you commit to ownership, if you commit to breaking free from the past, if you commit to taking charge of your life, your entire future will shift. Your results will change. Your mindset will become unshakable. And success will become inevitable. Winners do not waste time waiting for the right moment. They do not sit around hoping things will get easier. They do not spend their lives wishing for the perfect opportunity. They create their own moments. They make things happen. They do not wait. They move. And because they move, they create success where most people struggle. Most people are passive. They wait. They hope. They dream. But they do not take action. They spend their time analyzing, debating, hesitating. They wait for motivation. They wait for inspiration. They wait for life to give them a sign. And because they are always waiting, they stay stuck. They watch life pass them by while they sit on the sidelines. They wonder why nothing changes. They wonder why they never break through. But the truth is, they are waiting for something that will never come. Winners do not wait. They understand that action creates momentum. They know that progress comes from doing, not from thinking. They do not sit around analyzing things forever. They make a decision and they move. They do not wait for the perfect plan. They do not wait until they feel ready. They do not waste time hoping things will be different. They take control. They create their own opportunities, and because of that, they succeed faster than everyone else. This is the key to winning. If you want to separate yourself, you must stop waiting. You must stop hesitating. You must stop analyzing things to death. You must stop expecting life to hand you success, because it never will. Success is not given, it is taken. And the only way to take it is to move forward with power. Winners move regardless of circumstances. They do not let fear stop them. They do not let uncertainty hold them back. They do not wait for things to be perfect. They take action anyway. And because they take action, they build momentum. And because they build momentum, they create results. Most people never build momentum because they never take action. They wait until they feel 100% sure. They wait until everything is aligned. But that is a trap. Because nothing is ever 100% sure. Nothing is ever perfectly aligned. Life is always uncertain. And the only way to win is to move anyway. Winners understand that hesitation is the enemy. Every time you hesitate, you give fear more power. Every time you hesitate, you weaken your momentum. Every time you hesitate, you train yourself to stay stuck. Winners do not hesitate. They do not question themselves. They do not waste time debating with their mind. They have removed hesitation from the equation. They act with certainty. They move with power. They do not wait for life to tell them what to do. They decide and they execute. And that is what separates them. Most people live in hesitation. They wake up and start debating with themselves. Should I do this? Should I do that? Is this the right move? What if I fail? And that internal debate is what keeps them stuck. That hesitation is what kills their momentum. That fear is what destroys their confidence. But winners have trained themselves to eliminate hesitation. They have built the mental discipline to act without waiting. They have developed the ability to move forward regardless of how they feel. This is why winners are always in control. It is not because they never feel fear. It is because they have conditioned themselves to act anyway. It is not because they never doubt themselves. It is because they have trained themselves to push through doubt. It is not because things always go their way. It is because they have developed the mental toughness to create their own way. They do not wait. They do not hesitate. They do not waste time. They move forward with power. So the question is, are you moving or are you still waiting? Are you still hesitating? Are you still trapped in fear? Because if you are, you will struggle. You will stay stuck. You will keep watching life pass you by. You will keep wondering why things never change. But if you commit to action, if you commit to moving forward without hesitation, if you commit to taking control, your entire future will shift. Your results will change. Your mindset will become unbreakable. And success will become inevitable. Winners do not let fear control them. They feel fear, but they do not let it stop them. They understand that fear is a natural part of growth. They know that every time they push through fear, they get stronger. Every time they take action, in spite of fear, they build confidence. Fear is not something to avoid. It is something to move through. And because winners have trained themselves to do this, they separate themselves from everyone else. Most people let fear dictate their life. They are afraid of failure, so they do not try. They are afraid of rejection, so they do not put themselves out there. They are afraid of the unknown, so they stay stuck in the familiar, even if the familiar is not working. They allow fear to control their decisions. They let it dictate their actions. They let it keep them small. But winners, they do the opposite. They feel fear and they act anyway. They understand that fear is just a signal that they are about to grow. This is the difference. Winners do not eliminate fear. They embrace it. They know that if they are feeling fear, it means they are doing something important. It means they are stepping outside their comfort zone. It means they're evolving. Most people avoid fear. They run away from it. They let it stop them. But winners chase fear. They seek out the things that scare them. Because they know that on the other side of fear is growth. On the other side of fear is confidence. On the other side of fear is success. And this is why winners are always pushing their limits. They do not wait for life to be easy. They do not complain about how hard things are. They do not wish for a life without obstacles. They understand that every challenge is an opportunity. Every difficulty is a lesson. Every moment of discomfort is a chance to get stronger. Most people avoid discomfort. They avoid hard things. They stay within their safe zone. And because of that, they never grow. They never expand. They never reach their potential. Winners do hard things. They train themselves to embrace discomfort. They push themselves to do things that scare them. They take on challenges that force them to grow. And because they do this consistently, they become unstoppable. They develop a level of confidence that most people will never have. They build a mindset so strong that nothing can shake it. They create a level of success that most people will never achieve. Because they are willing to do what others are not. And this is where most people go wrong. They think success is about talent. They think it is about luck. They think it is about having the right background, the right opportunities, the right advantages. But that is not true. Success is about who is willing to feel fear and act anyway. Success is about who is willing to embrace discomfort and keep moving. Success is about who is strong enough to push forward when everyone else is stopping. So the question is, are you embracing fear? Or are you still letting it control you? Are you still avoiding things that scare you? Are you still running away from discomfort? Because if you are, you'll struggle, you'll stay stuck. You'll keep wondering why things never change, but if you commit to pushing through fear, if you commit to doing hard things, if you commit to training yourself to move forward no matter what, your entire future will shift. Your results will change. Your mindset will become unbreakable, and success will become inevitable. Winners do not seek approval. They do not live their life trying to please everyone. They do not waste energy worrying about what people think. They do not let someone else's opinion dictate their path. They have made a decision. They will win, regardless of what anyone else says. And that decision is what separates them from everyone else. Most people are trapped by the need for approval. They live for validation. They seek approval in everything they do. They want people to agree with them. They want to be liked. They want to fit in. And because of that, they compromise. They dilute their true self. They take paths that are not meant for them. They follow expectations instead of their own vision. And in the end, they wonder why they feel unfulfilled, why they feel stuck, why they feel like something is missing. Winners do not care about approval. They do not need validation. They do not waste energy trying to convince people of their worth. They know their value. They trust their vision. They believe in themselves regardless of what anyone else thinks. And because they do, they move with power. They make decisions with certainty. They take actions that most people would never take. They walk their own path without hesitation. And that is why they win. This is the key to separating yourself. If you want to win, you must stop seeking approval. You must stop living for someone else's validation. You must stop worrying about what people think. Because the truth is, most people are too busy worrying about their own lives to focus on yours. Most people are not judging you as much as you think. Most people are not paying as much attention to you as you believe. And even if they are, who cares? Their opinion does not pay your bills. Their approval does not build your future. Their validation does not create success. You do. Winners understand this. They know that in order to win, they must be willing to stand alone. They must be willing to be misunderstood. They must be willing to pursue their vision even if no one else believes in it. Because true success is built in silence. True greatness is achieved when you stop caring about outside noise. True power comes from moving forward without needing anyone's permission. And this is where most people fail. They hesitate. They second-guess themselves. They stop pursuing their goals because someone told them it was unrealistic. They stop taking action because someone disagreed with their plan. They let external opinions dictate their internal drive. And because of that, they stay stuck. They never break through. they never reach their full potential. Winners do not make this mistake. They have trained themselves to push through external resistance. They do not let opinions stop them. They do not let criticism derail them. They do not let fear of judgment hold them back. They have made a decision. They will win regardless of what anyone else thinks. And because they have made that decision, they move forward with power. So the question is, are you moving forward, or are you still waiting for approval? Are you still seeking validation? Are you still letting other people's opinions control you? Because if you are, you will struggle. You will stay stuck. You will keep wondering why things never change. But if you commit to breaking free, if you commit to pursuing your vision without hesitation, if you commit to winning regardless of what anyone else thinks, your entire future will shift. Your results will change. Your mindset will become unstoppable. And success will become inevitable. Winners do not let distractions control them. They do not allow minor things to steal their focus. They do not get caught up in noise. They do not waste time on things that do not serve their mission. They understand that success requires laser-like focus. They know that every distraction is a thief of time and energy. And because they guard their focus, they achieve results faster than everyone else. Most people are scattered. They are pulled in 100 different directions. They jump from one thing to another. They start projects and never finish. They chase every new idea, but never follow through on anything meaningful. They let distractions steal their time. And because of that, they never make real progress. They wonder why they feel busy but never productive. Why they feel like they are working hard but not getting anywhere. It is because they are scattered. They are distracted. They are losing time without even realizing it. Winners do not operate this way. They have trained themselves to focus on what matters. They know that not everything deserves their attention. They understand that every time they say yes to something, they are saying no to something else. And because they value their time, they are ruthless with distractions. They do not get caught up in things that do not serve their mission. They do not waste energy on things that do not move them forward. They protect their focus like it is the most valuable asset in the world, because it is. If you want to separate yourself, you must do the same. You must stop letting distractions control you. You must stop chasing things that do not matter. You must stop allowing minor things to steal your attention. Because every time you get distracted, you lose momentum. Every time you shift your focus, you weaken your progress. Every time you allow minor things to take over, you train yourself to stay stuck. Winners understand that success is about depth, not breadth. It is about going deep into a few things that matter, not spreading yourself thin on 100 things that do not. It is about mastering a few key areas, not being average at everything. It is about intense focus, not scattered effort. Most people never win because they never go deep. They are always skimming the surface. They are always jumping from one thing to another. They are always distracted. And because of that, they never build real momentum. Winners do not make this mistake. They pick their battles wisely. They choose what matters. They focus on a few key areas, and they go all in. They do not get caught up in things that do not serve their mission. They do not waste time on distractions. They protect their focus. They guard their time. And because they do, they create results that most people will never achieve. So the question is, are you focused? Or are you still distracted? Are you still letting minor things steal your attention? Are you still spreading yourself thin? Because if you are, you will struggle. You will stay stuck. You will keep wondering why things never change. But if you commit to focus, if you commit to going deep instead of wide, if you commit to protecting your time, your entire future will shift. Your results will change. Your mindset will become unstoppable, and success will become inevitable. Winners do not let setbacks define them. They do not look at failure as the end. They do not see obstacles as permanent. They understand that every setback is just a setup for a comeback. They know that failure is not something to avoid. It is something to learn from. And because they have trained themselves to see setbacks differently, they recover faster than everyone else. Most people fail once and give up. They experience one setback and let it destroy their confidence. They face one obstacle and decide that maybe they were not meant to win. They allow failure to become their identity. They let one bad experience dictate their future. They do not realize that every winner has failed more times than they can count. They do not understand that failure is a part of the process. It is not the opposite of success. It is a part of success. Winners do not think like that. They do not let failure stop them. They do not dwell on what went wrong. They do not waste time feeling sorry for themselves. They analyze, they learn, they adjust, and then they move forward. They have trained themselves to see every failure as feedback. Every setback is a lesson. Every obstacle is an opportunity to grow, and because they see failure differently, they recover faster. They adapt quicker. They keep moving when most people stop. This is the key to winning. If you want to separate yourself, you must stop letting failure control you. You must stop allowing setbacks to define you. You must stop reacting to failure with self-doubt. Because failure is not the end. It is information. It is data. It is feedback. And if you learn to read it, you will become unstoppable. Winners understand that success is built on failure. Every time they fail, they get closer to winning. Every time they experience a setback, they learn something new. Every time things go wrong, they gain valuable insight. Most people avoid failure. They run from it. They fear it. But winners chase it. They embrace it because they know that the faster they fail, the faster they learn. And the faster they learn, the quicker they win. This is why winners take risks. They do not play it safe. They do not avoid challenges. They do not stay in their comfort zone. Because they understand that growth only happens when you risk failure. They know that if you never fail, you never grow. If you never experience setbacks, you never build resilience. If you never push through difficulty, you never develop the mental toughness to win at the highest level. And this is where most people go wrong. They avoid risk. They play it safe. They stay small. They protect themselves from failure. But in doing so, they protect themselves from growth. They keep themselves locked in a cycle of mediocrity. They never push past their limits. They never break through. They never become the person they were meant to be. Winners do not live that way. They take risks. They embrace failure. They move forward even when things are uncertain. They train themselves to recover quickly. They build resilience. They develop the mindset to keep going when things get hard. And because they do, they separate themselves from everyone else. So the question is, are you letting failure control you? Or are you learning from it? Are you reacting to setbacks with self-doubt? Or are you using them as fuel? Are you allowing obstacles to stop you? Or are you pushing through them? Because if you are still letting failure define you, you will struggle. You will stay stuck. You will keep wondering why things never change. But if you commit to resilience, if you commit to learning from failure, if you commit to moving forward no matter what, your entire future will shift. Your results will change. Your mindset will become unstoppable. and success will become inevitable. Winners do not let their environment dictate their mindset. They do not let negativity, doubt, or fear from the outside world control them. They create their own mental state. They train themselves to think powerfully, regardless of what is happening around them. And because they do, they operate at a higher level than everyone else. Most people are influenced by their environment. They let external factors dictate their emotions. They let other people's negativity affect their mindset. They let fear and doubt from the outside world control their actions. They do not realize that their environment is only powerful if they allow it to be. Winners understand this. They know that they can take control of their thoughts. They know that they can choose how to respond. They know that their mindset is more powerful than any external factor. This is why winners are always in control. It is not because they never feel doubt. It is because they have trained themselves to control their thoughts. It is not because they never feel fear. It is because they have conditioned themselves to think powerfully anyway. It is not because things always go their way. It is because they have developed the mental toughness to create their own reality, regardless of external circumstances. And this is where most people fail. They allow the world to dictate their thoughts. They let fear control them. They let doubt creep in. They let negativity from other people affect their drive. But winners do not make this mistake. They have trained themselves to protect their mind. They do not allow outside influences to control them. They decide how to think. They decide what to focus on. They decide to operate from a place of power. This is the key to winning. If you want to separate yourself, you must take control of your mind. You must stop letting external factors dictate your emotions. You must stop allowing negativity to control your thoughts. You must stop reacting to the world and start creating your own reality. Because your mindset is your most powerful weapon. And if you do not control it, it will control you. Winners understand that thoughts create reality. If you think like a winner, you will act like a winner. If you train yourself to focus on power, you will create powerful results. If you condition yourself to think positively, you will attract positive outcomes. Most people never win because they never take control of their thoughts. They let their mind run wild. They let negativity take over. They let fear dictate their actions. But winners do the opposite. They train their mind to think powerfully. They condition themselves to focus on solutions instead of problems. They build a mindset so strong that nothing can shake it. And this is why winners protect their environment. They do not expose themselves to negativity. They do not surround themselves with people who drain their energy. They do not put themselves in situations that weaken their mindset. They are ruthless about what they allow into their life because they understand that their mind is their most valuable asset, and if they do not protect it, they will lose. So the question is, are you in control of your mind, or are you still letting the world dictate your thoughts? Are you still allowing negativity to affect you? Are you still letting fear control you? Because if you are, you will struggle. You will stay stuck. You will keep wondering why things never change. But if you commit to mental mastery, if you commit to training your mind, if you commit to protecting your focus, your entire future will shift. Your results will change. Your mindset will become unstoppable. And success will become inevitable. Winners do not wait for motivation. They do not rely on inspiration. They do not waste energy hoping to feel ready. They take action regardless of how they feel. They have trained themselves to move even when they do not want to. They have built the mental discipline to act with power no matter what. And because they have, they create success where most people struggle. Most people wait. They wait for motivation. They wait for inspiration. They wait until they feel like doing something. And because they are always waiting, they stay stuck. They never build momentum. They never take action. They never create the results they want. They spend their life hoping to feel different, not realizing that action creates motivation, not the other way around.